Good afternoon and welcome to the DV Host Open Mic for February 2017. I'm Salita Coleman and I am here to answer questions for you as well as your fellow hosts in the program.
Salita, this is Mary Ellen.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Just a question. When I start to mute it, how do you unmute it?
Star 2 to mute and star 2 to unmute.
Oh, so the same
way you got in is the same way you get out.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I want to go over some quick conference-related items. Hopefully on this call, and I'll give you a second to do it, grab a pen out of your cup holders and a Post-it note or a big sheet of paper. I'm going to give you some information that you might want to just throw up on your computer monitor or post to the wall. So if you're attending conference in Orlando this year, there will be 2 DV host workshops. And our first session will be our introductory session for those of you that are new to the program. We are going to give you all an overview of all of the cruise space products in the program, as well as talk about some basics to hosting responsibilities and teaching you some other ways to sell into the Distinctive Voyages product. That session is on May 3rd at 2 o'clock. Again, the intro session is on May 3rd at 2 o'clock. For the pros, or those that are beyond the beginning stages of hosting, we will have a session on May 5th. That's that last day at 9:45 a.m. So hopefully by the end of this conference, you will still be able to bring me a little bit of your enthusiasm and excitement at 9:45 a.m. I'll be sending out cocktail party information next week. We will get that evite done and sent out to all of you. I just wanted you to just have a mental note of what was available so that if you haven't already, I think registration is open at this point or about to be. So just make a note of those 2 dates so that you save it for us. I just want to, at the top of this call, give you the rest of the open mic schedule for the next 3 months. So our next call will be on March 16th at 3 o'clock Eastern, followed by April 20th at 3 o'clock. In May, because we'll be in Orlando, there will be no call in May. So probably in April, I will send out the dates going into the summer, as well as the timing if it changes. All right? Keep your pen handy. There is an upcoming training class for those of you that are interested in all things Oceania. How to wow with Distinctive Voyages in Oceania. That call will take place on March 22nd. It is a 1-hour training program with Christina and Oceania will be leading that effort, and it's from 2 to 3 o'clock. I'll stop for a moment to see if anyone has any questions about conference, about the Oceania workshop.
Salita, this is Mary Ellen again.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have one question. You said that the second training was on May the 5th?
May 5th at 9:45.
Okay. I thought the conference was over on afternoon of May 4th.
I have May 5th at 9:45.
Okay. I'll double check mine.
Okay, yeah, that's the schedule I got yesterday.
Okay.
Yes, Salita, because the date, it's Debbie. The conference dates did say to the 4th, and actually I have a flight out on the 5th in the morning, so unfortunately I would miss that.
Well, let's check that out. Yeah, let's check that out right now.
How about
I will check on that, because we just wrote our class descriptions this week. I'll confirm that date and time to make sure.
Yeah, because it basically said that May 5th they were just going to repeat some classes if you wanted to stay longer for conference, but all the brochures and everything say 1st to 4th.
Okay. Okay, the morning of. Okay.
The 4th, yeah.
Salita, hi, this is Tim Walsh. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, friend?
Hey, great. Just to confirm,
nice to hear you.
Yeah, thanks. And nice to hear you as well. Friday, May 5th does say 8:30 to 10:45 optional training classes, and I think, as everyone indicated, most people will probably leave Friday morning sometime, so you're going to get.
No, I'm glad we're getting this feedback now.
Yeah, you're going to get stragglers or those that are driving to Orlando, which hanging around, but anybody that's flying out is probably going to boogie there because the general session closing is ends at 4 o'clock Thursday.
I'll send it out with the course description and the cocktail information. I'll have all things DV and conference in that next message I send out to you guys. On another note, I want to talk to you guys about the use of VIP@sea.com. Is there anybody on the call that would volunteer to explain to the group what that website is? It's pop quiz day.
Well, I used it earlier today, Celia.
Oh, tell us all about it. What'd you do?
It was just really, it's so simple. You just went on, you pricked your cruise line, then it gave you all the cruises that, are distinctive voyages, and you click, and it would print, and you can print out the excursion. It was fantastic.
Is this Bob?
Yes.
Oh, good. And see, thank goodness I got your voice and your name connected. So I'm taking it that you used it to check out what your excursion would be, or one of your passengers.
Yeah, it was a new excursion. I just did it, half an hour ago. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And it took a couple of minutes. Now I couldn't, because I had looked at the older presentation that you gave, and I couldn't. The distinctive voyages way of getting it, they must have changed it since you did that thing, because I couldn't find a way to go through
on Agent Universe.
Voyage. Yeah, I couldn't find it, but
so
again,
that website,
it was so simple.
That website is about 2 weeks old, so some of our recordings will certainly be changing here over the next couple of months. So if things are slightly different now, then I certainly apologize, but that website is about 2 weeks old, so we'll be getting that done for sure.
But if you need the excursion, VIP, it works. It's just quick. Boom.
Okay.
This is Kate, and I also use it, and I print it out partly because it lists the price if you need a third or fourth guest that wants to join it, so you have it handy for office hours.
Right. So I bring up VIP@sea for a couple of reasons. The first would be those of you that are burning to know what your shore excursion may be. When it's not listed in Agent Universe with a flyer yet, because our graphics department is a little overwhelmed there, we're dealing with our merger acquisition and the different products that we have. Some of them aren't always there when you go to look for them. In the event you can't find your flyer, if you are sailing on anyone but Holland or Seabourn, more than likely you can find the tour listed here. You can find the price there in the event you had additional clients. Third and fourth, in a cabin. But I also want to explain another reason why you might use it. Say you have a couple. They're traveling with friends, their parents, someone else that is not in their cabin. If we have an eligible couple who's traveling with another couple that may have booked by other means, and they ask, can our friends join the group? No, they can't join complimentary. But we make this option available in some cases where you want your clients to participate and you don't want to turn them off or make them unhappy by saying, no, they can't bring the additional party. No, they're not qualified eligible bookings, but they're traveling with a qualified eligible guest. We don't get a ton of requests like that, but we do in the summer. So I just want everyone to be aware that the use of that site, it was created so that we could address those types of requests a lot easier. But again, it's not just for, strays into the group that have no association to the group. It's for folks that are participating as a result of some of their connected party. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Well, I do. This is Diane Santana. Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit, a little muffled.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I'm a new host, actually, so this whole website is new to me, and I've just pulled it up to look at it. And I'm wondering, for the people that are booked in the group, do they need to go to this website to sign themselves?
No, not at all.
No, okay.
Eligible passengers are notified via an email notification to their agency that, in most cases, is conveyed to the client. Your passengers on your manifest, unless they have a third or fourth person in the cabin, they would have no need to go to the site, because you as the host, you're presenting them the tour information in your welcome packet, And with you being new, you'd certainly learn this in some of the orientation, whether you do it by video or we talk about it over the phone. So your passengers are going to get a shore excursion flyer and a detailed letter about what's included as a part of you being on the cruise with them.
Okay, so this website would just be for people who have other people sailing with them who want to go
traveling with them. Right. So ideally, you would come in contact with this site as the agent, recognizing, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Jones are traveling with their teenage daughter. So can I purchase the tour for the daughter, since only the first and second receive it complimentary? So we encourage that happen in the agency environment. You as a host may have a couple come to you and say, well, we're traveling with our child. Can we purchase the tour or can we add them on? And you would either offer them the website or ideally assist them, show them this is a site where you can go and book, and the cost is $75, and you help them to complete the transaction. Once they make that purchase, we're notified that someone has been added on, and the shore excursion team has been notified that someone has been added on, and you would include them in your guest count.
Okay, so this site is set up to take a payment and everything for the excursion?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Salida, this is Mary Ellen. I just have a question. I pulled up a tour for one of my guests who's leaving in the beginning of March. And the difficulty comes is, for some reason, they've changed this a little bit. It doesn't tell you what time the tour starts or how long it's going to be or if there's a meal included.
I could look at that one specifically, but it's the gist of the description is Claire's final itinerary document. So typically they are detailed with whether there's lunch or not. Just for sake of purpose of the call, can you look around to see if like the cruise before or after that includes that information? Where if it doesn't, you know, maybe we can look at yours specifically.
Okay, I can do that.
Because typically the duration is there and, you know, some of the other information. So peek
Salida,
around, and if you don't
on
see it, we'll try and find it. I'm sorry?
Salida, I'm looking at a tour, and under the description in bold type and smaller letters, it tells you it includes lunch, and at the end it tells you the length, the very last thing.
Okay, yeah.
So the information is there. Timings 9 to 14:30, so it's 5.5 hours. So I think the information is there on all of them. I think you just have to look a little.
Salida, this is Bobby.
Hello.
How are you?
Fantastic, friend. Thank you.
Good. Are these the only cruise lines that are going to be listed on this site?
So we have everybody in the program with the exception of Holland and Seabourn because they operate the DV tours for us.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
okay.
Those are the ones that are participating in DV that aren't Holland and Seabourn.
Right. Okay. So those will still remain to be seen on Agent Universe.
Yeah, like if the tour isn't there now, see, when Claire creates the tours for the year, it's easy to load them in this site. They produce this site for us and keep it up to date. Where in Agent Universe, we have to put our request for flyers on a graphic design schedule for our team to create those unique flyers. So when you don't see it there, this is a great place to go in the meantime just to get the gist of the information.
Okay, sounds good. Looks like a wonderful site.
Now that site's been up for about 2 or 3 years, so if you've been in the program for at least that long,
I'm
usually on the hand
always
for some of you.
I'm always with Holland America.
Salida.
Yeah, you are, Bob.
Salida, this is Karen, and I'm looking at the Oceania one on that site you just gave us, and it shows the sailings, but it won't let you open anything to tell you what it is. Are they not updating?
So
like
I
everybody
opened
else?
Oceania, and I've opened the sailing on, let's see, June 2nd?
June 7th.
Hang on a second. So I was able to open, let's see, which one is this? This must be November. if the tour information is available, it's there. Sales on November 7th. That one's available?
Yeah, but
I clicked on one and I didn't get a response.
You don't get anything.
Okay, I've clicked on the Oceania Riviera and the, let's see, March 26th, September. The tours that are available now are opening.
Okay, so that one isn't set then yet. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And for those of you that are assigned to Oceania, if you are assigned something in the first half of the year, because it's still new and, we haven't gotten a ton of traction on those, if you don't see a tour, it's because we're very well projecting that it may not earn. And to go ahead and plan for those resources doesn't necessarily make the most sense, right? So the dates are listed there. If it happens to earn, the tour would be loaded. So I think in most cases you'll find the tours there with every sale date. I'm glad we talked about VIP at Sea today. Is there any other questions about it before we move on?
But
related to that, Salita, it's Kate.
Sorry.
It's Kate. Did you indicate that there's usually all the links to the nice flyers for the
in Agent Universe on that
spreadsheet
they're
just
all the
way
dates.
behind.
Yes, because of all things acquisition and bringing everybody together.
All things PL. Okay.
They're getting there.
I keep looking for mine. That's good.
Somebody else had a question right at the same time Kate did. I'm glad to wait. If you want to try again.
Yes, I was saying, Salita, this is Marianne again. I was saying that originally we used to be able to find it also in Agent Universe and going into the Distinctive Voyage and looking at all of the tours and the shore excursions. Has that page gone away?
No, the file hasn't gone away. I know they're feverishly loading additional tour flyers into it. So if it's not, I think it's updated on Fridays, and I know that we have a request for over 100 flyers at the moment for a lot of these tours. So it still exists. So if you don't see it there now, you certainly will soon. I don't have that open and pulled up, but that feature has not gone away.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Were you looking for December or this upcoming?
No, I was just looking at, when I went on right now, the DV dates in Excel, it doesn't have any of the...
So the links aren't there out on the far right?
Yeah, they're gone. And it doesn't go that far. It gives the city, and then that's it. It doesn't give any excursions, but I may...
Some of the links are there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would...
No, some of the links are there. There just aren't very many.
Okay. I think in our next call, we'll go over some of the new Agent Universe, features or just where things have moved where they once were before. So, Mary Ellen, I've made it a note to do that in this next call.
That would be great. Thank you.
I know VIP at Sea, it was really important for me to do that today because there's so many versions of how you can use it. I wanted to make sure everybody understood the different ways that it could be used. And finding ShoreX information is definitely one. I get that question all the time. And I want you all to know that that's a backup option when you're looking for it. So I'm going to move into a quick chat about onboard internet expenses. We talked about it a little bit last month. And the takeaway was I'd go to Celebrity and a couple others and see what we could do more for hosts. And I don't have the best of news, but I'm hoping that this suggestion in the meantime will help us manage that expense a little bit better. So I've mentioned to you all before in the past that if you have to send an email when you're at sea, you're sending it to the Voyages box. You're welcome to copy me, but we're asking that you write that email in its entirety before you connect to the internet. You can draft it. If you spend 15, 20 minutes writing it, fine, but you're doing it before you actually connect to the internet. Those packages they've gotten really expensive. And ideally, you would be using a per minute option or the lowest package. So we're asking that we want to try to see, how we do if you're using a per minute option. Because what I don't want to get on a regular basis is hundreds of dollars in internet expense. Because what I generally do is I'll search your email, just take your email address, put it in the Outlook search, and I'll see how many times you and I have communicated while you're on the boat. And if I've gotten 2 emails or 1 that just said you have 60 people on your tour, I'm certain that you didn't spend more than, a couple bucks on internet. So we're going to try it that way for a while and see how it goes until we can get some more flexibility from the suppliers. When you have larger groups, if you have group questions, I'm glad for you to continue to send me those questions. I can evaluate your expense based on that. But don't buy the $300 package. Just don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. And I know
Saletta?
when... Yes, Salita.
This is Robert Herman.
Yes, sir.
I have another suggestion for some people. One of the things that we do to keep our costs down when we're cruising is when we get to a port, we seek out a restaurant, get a drink or something like that, and use their Wi-Fi for free.
That's a great time to do your catching up with me anyway.
And so that greatly keeps the cost down.
Yep. And generally it's a lot faster, right?
Oh yeah, it's tremendously faster because you're now dealing with a land internet instead of one that's running through a satellite.
Yes. The only time I'll ask you to, contact me by a specific time is when you're sharing with Claire and I the number of people on your tour before that deadline. She asked me to share this as well. Waiting until the day of the deadline real late, she's in the UK and the time difference is there, and she and I have communicated many times over a weekend or late at night because we haven't heard from someone yet, and we're holding 4 or 5 buses when you really only need 2. So, being mindful of your final itinerary and her numbers deadline, that's the only email that I'm desperately hoping that you can get to us in a timely manner. Of course, emergencies, those things, there's exceptions to all of this, but I just, help me out and try and manage the internet expenses a little bit better by going per minute or using that lowest package that we can reimburse you on. Any questions?
Salita.
Yes, sir.
It's Bob. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think I had asked you this question. Are there any people that are Celebrity Captain Club members?
Oh, yeah, Bob, why don't you go ahead and ask the question of the group?
Okay.
Since
okay.
Bob is new, guy, so he's got a question
I'm
about loyalty.
Yeah, because I'm an Elite Plus in Celebrity, and I want to find out if they give you your benefits when you're traveling as a host. I've gotten the benefits as a travel agent and on Seminar at Sea. Has anybody had this experience?
I have. I'm Lee. This is Bobby. They do not count your cruise towards your standing if you're moving up.
That's okay. That's okay. But when you're
on, that's your benefits because you have the right color card.
That's the big difference because I get a couple of 100 minutes. I wouldn't need any minutes from Distinctive Voyages. I get laundry. This I could pack less. So many things that you get. That's okay. Great. Thank you, Salita, for putting that out.
Yeah, sure.
No problem.
Can someone please tell me that for Regent and Crystal as well? I get that question often about Crystal Society. And I guess what's that, Mariner or one of the other programs with Regent. Do the hosts receive the shore excursions and drinks and internet?
You do one as
Regent or Crystal
host?
No,
the other two.
No, Salita.
Yes, sir.
Azamara is the only one I had a problem with. Royal and Celebrity gave me the benefits.
Okay.
We can give you all the benefits.
I'll holler next time I go on Azamara if they don't give it to me. Okay.
Well, don't holler while you're hosting because that doesn't make good relations for me.
I wasn't a host. Maybe they do it differently.
Hey, look, I'm just putting it out there. Don't holler when you're on the clock for me.
No.
I need them.
I'll be the modicum of whatever when I'm hosting.
Thank you. Hosts that have served on Regent and Crystal, can anyone speak to that as well? I don't have any Crystal folk. Well, Mary Ellen's there.
With Regents, you do get the excursions and you do get the everything on the ship.
Internet?
They're having more and more packages. So if there's a package that's available, I have found that we did get it. We were not restricted from it.
And how's that been with Crystal?
Same thing.
Okay.
But Crystal does not offer free excursions.
Right. No, I just meant more so the internet benefit. And do they honor Crystal Society status?
Yeah, they have it now for everybody.
Fantastic.
A certain amount of internet comes along.
Great. So we shouldn't have that going on this year with the Crystal and Regent as well.
Hopefully. Cross your fingers they don't change
hopefully.
it.
Right, exactly. It can change overnight. Does anyone have any questions about onboard internet and those expense items?
No, I just have a comment about that. Doing it by the minute. Every cruise ship I've been on, if you looked at the per minute cost, it's so high that by the time you sign on and sign off, you're going to be, even if you, and everybody should be doing that, write it off, go on, get your messages, sign off. Even if you do all that, it costs more than the minimum plan. So if you go in and you take a picture or copy of what the plans are, you'll see that even if you did 3, 4, 5 minutes a day, you're still going to be more than that minimum plan. So take a
Is it like 99 cents a minute or $1.49 at times?
It's usually so high. They don't want you to get that plan, so they make it really high. So
yeah,
as long
they
as you
do make it high.
I have to have I have to have the big plan. Like I'm going to get the unlimited plan on Celebrity because I have to. But I mean, you just have to have the documentation and just expense the minimum, whatever that is. $20,
exactly. That's the other thing I would say. But there are some hosts that don't want to, take on the large package. But I will say, if you're willing to do so, and you do take let's say it's $300 or $199, please only expense the max allowed by the DV program.
Exactly.
That max is $65. I'm getting the full bill when, we didn't correspond to that extent. So Christina's asked me to point that out to you, and, I've done so. I have done so. But in the meantime, we have gone out to Celebrity, and we'll continue to kind of lobby. Particularly when you have groups of over 100. If we could get $50 towards internet in the form of an SBC or your account or something like that, we'll try and do that, but we haven't worked it out yet. But we did ask.
Lita?
Yes.
For anybody that's on Verizon, they just started this new program called Travel Pass. And it's $10 a day, and it's to most countries, and you can just take your regular everyday plan with you. And I just used it internationally, and it was great because I had my data and everything, and calls. You can make free calls from international and all that, and it's $10 a day. You can just use your regular everyday plan if somebody has a high data plan or whatever.
And if you have unlimited data, could you check your email and still be under that $10 a day plan?
Yeah. So I just traveled, my husband and I, and we paid $10 a day, and we just were on our phones, all day long doing our mails and everything, and it was our regular program and got no other expense than the $10 a day. And we could call back to the United States for free.
And Salita, this is Karen, and let me mention, I have that also. However, that does not work when you're on board the ship. It works when you're on land.
Oh, I bet it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, I was not on a ship to try it.
Yeah, they won't give you
very
everything.
Well on land. Yeah.
That would
and you're
be
only
too much
charged when you use it. So if you go into Canada, let's say, to fly out, and you don't use it in Canada, you won't be charged for Canada.
Okay.
So it's a good deal, but it doesn't work on the ship.
That would be too much like freight.
AT&T has it also. Talk and text all you want and use your data plan for $10 a day. You have to call in to get it.
So if we use those services like the onboard internet, I guess if you had any plan, but like T-Mobile has some version of that also. I know I can call, I know I can text. I'm not too sure on the internet yet on board. But why wouldn't we all move to using that as a part of our tools when we're at sea? I'd much rather you step off the ship and get in, kind of like the port terminals. They've all got Wi-Fi options, and send your host-related messages there. That's just like our biggest line item in terms of expenses in the program is internet. So I'm asking, everyone to kind of just be mindful of that and try and use it on your phones when you can. If it's already included, I'm sure you're still able to conduct business when using it. Just include me in that so that we don't have the internet bill.
For all those sea days.
Yeah, for all those sea days. Nobody told you to take the 8 days at sea itinerary.
Yeah, right.
Somebody did the transatlantic. That's awesome. I want to, while we're talking about being on the boat, a couple of these open dates. If you're not going to conference, if you have time available in May, I certainly do need you. The list that went out today, there were a number of May dates there, and I'm in that jam every year right around conference where we have a number of dates that need a host. So, I just ask that you look at your schedule, and if you're flexible to May, please let me know. Same thing with the rest of the dates that are there. Summer Mediterranean is coming up, so if you have any desires to be in Greece, I ask that you take a glance at that, and I'd much rather confirm you now instead of you wait until June or July to try to get the air to go. We know how that'll start to change here in the next couple of months. Do I have any new hosts that has any questions for the group? Anyone sailing in the next 30 to 60 days that has any questions that we could all answer for you?
Salita, I have a question. My last count for Alaska was over 100.
Okay.
So I thought that once you went over 100, you had more than one host. Is that still
in the event,
correct?
Well, that number is 150, and this is a good time to explain to everyone how that works. And I'm going to explain this, but it only applies to celebrity. I want everyone to have that understanding. If you have over 150 people counted in your group, that's 75 cabins, right? Because it's half the number of passengers for the number of cabins. I can ask celebrity, may I have a second host cabin? In the event they say, yes, we have the space, I can give you a second cabin, I say to the host that is assigned, do you have another couple, friends, colleagues, your kids, anybody that would be willing to help you deliver to those 150 passengers as well as help you on the day of your shore excursion? If that host says, yes, I'd like to invite another couple we're friends with, fine. First thing is you're responsible for that other host couple. I'm trusting you that you're bringing qualified help, people that will be of good help to you, because there's a difference between bringing friends and bringing good help. I think some of you could attest to that. So they don't have to be agents. I'm leaving it up to you to train them to be a help to you. So in the event you say, no, I really don't have anybody that would be interested, I put that second date on the list of open dates, and I try to recruit someone to be on the boat to have your back. Does that make sense?
Thank you. I thought the number was 100, so I'm clear now.
What's your date? I'm looking it up for you.
June 16th.
So on the 16th, right now we have 120.
Yeah.
120. So about the count itself, I was going to say something. I just lost that train of thought. So if you have 120, that sounds like a huge, daunting number. But we can look at the trend of DV sailings on that specific date, ship, that time of year, and we can tell you that 70 to 80% of that number will actually participate. So it may say 120, but you may only get 60 or 70 wanting to go on the tour. You may only get 40 at the cocktail party.
That's true.
It just depends. So don't look at that number and freak out. I would be shocked if you got all 120 to participate. We'd love for them to. It just doesn't typically work out that way. I had 220 one time, and I think I had 90 on the tour.
Lita, it's Marnie speaking. I had 225 one time, and we were the only hosts, and it went fine. Because, I said, most people have got something planned, and except for telling them it's not a timeshare, everything went okay. We got a lot of that. They don't want to go on a timeshare.
You got to break the ice at the cocktail party. If you're a new host, my advice to you, if people try to figure it out, they want to know, why are you giving me this almost $200 to $400 value excursion for free? You tell them when you introduce yourself, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want you to go home and do business with the same person you booked this cruise with. Exactly. Everybody laughs. They have a sigh of relief. You carry on with your cocktail party and enjoy yourselves. And they're very receptive to you at that point. You know, don't wait until halfway through to explain that. Tell them right out the gate.
Salita, this is Mary from New Jersey, from Pinnacle Travel.
Hi.
Hi. I have a large group sailing on March 5th, and I had the opportunity to bring someone aboard that I could train, one of our other agents. We did that, and just yesterday she got some very sudden medical information, whereas she doesn't know yet, but it may be that she will not be able to go. What do I do on your end other than notify you that it's canceled?
Well, if they can't go, I mean, just for your sake with a group, you know, you want to know sooner than later. I could help you recruit
but I'm okay
someone else.
I'm okay with the size of the group. Yeah.
Oh, well then, you know, you don't do anything. You know, you've been there, done that. You can handle it. I have all, you know, confidence in that. You just let me know, and we do our best to try and, you know, get her refunded outside of any penalties that they might charge. So as soon as you know, let me know.
Okay. All right, I will. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So a couple more new host questions, if you don't mind.
No, that's what we want.
What's the cocktail party? The people who are coming into the cocktail party are those that obviously are distinctive voyage guests who received the information from their travel agent. So when you said the one email that you really, really want towards the beginning of the cruise is the numbers for the excursion so that you can order the right number of buses and so forth.
Right.
Would you get that number from the cocktail party?
A good host who has planned well, I'll tell you how you get those numbers, or at least the bulk of them, at the cocktail party. So we have what's called a passenger waiver form, which in simple speak is a field trip permission slip. You print those out and you put them in your packets before you leave home, and on embarkation day you're delivering that folder, but it's got that field trip permission slip form inside the folder. It's not... folks don't always bring it with them to the cocktail party. The instructions say to do that, but they don't always do it. So a host who wants to get those numbers as soon as possible, and a host on a 7-day cruise should really do this, is carry a second stack of them with you to the cocktail party. Because while your co-host is helping people check in, checking off their cabin number, they've come to the cocktail party, you have them ask, did you bring your waiver form for the excursion with you? Oh, you didn't? Here, I have one. Let's get that signed now for you and the other person in the cabin. Collecting them during the cocktail party expedites that process tremendously. If your tour deadline is several days away, you can allow your passengers to drop them off at your office hours or at the front desk for you to collect later. But if you have a shorter sailing, you want to carry extras with you so that you can get as many of them at that point as possible. And when hosts do that, they tend to get the majority of them that night. They may have a few stragglers, but you can get the majority. Once your guests realize that, one, it's complimentary, or they're already used to the program, or their agent explained it to you, that's more than half the battle. Just, getting those forms that night feels good, because that's the bulk of the work during the whole trip, is getting that done. So as a first host, take as many with you as you can, or as many as you have passengers in the group. So for those that don't bring it, you can lock it in right there. and you count them up that night.
I probably had 12 people sign them that night.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can email that night or the next morning, but it's done.
Okay.
Especially if you can count it and say that you've gotten the majority of the group, you can tell Claire comfortably that, yeah, we'll need the 3 coaches, or we have 60. If you have 67 in the group, you still have wiggle room should someone come along late.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I hope I explained that well. I felt like it was a mouthful.
Lita, this is Bobby.
Yes,
when
ma'am.
I make my calls the first night, I usually mention that also, that, you know, we are having the trip, and please bring your slip with you to the cocktail party so we can get a count. And most of them do, believe it or not.
There are a couple layers, you know, of protection to get that done early. Delivering it to the door in your voicemail, as well as having them at the party.
Right.
Those 3 steps alone happen before the party even happens.
Right, and then you can get most of them done.
Yep.
Okay, one more new host question, if you don't mind.
Please.
You said that we would, as hosts, we will be receiving a set of packets for all of the guests.
Yes.
Is that something that you send us?
Yes, we ship that to you the month before your trip.
Okay, and then in addition to what you're sending us, is there anything that we need to create or print to add to it?
What month is your sailing?
My first one is in April 9th.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get some time scheduled so that we can answer, you know, any of your detailed questions. You're going to get an email from us before your trip that you'll have documents to print, but some of it will be printed on the supplies that we'll send you next month or in a couple of weeks here. There are shore excursion recommendations, or port recommendations, I'm sorry, not excursion. Some of our hosts create those. If you look on your itinerary and you're familiar with any locations, you know, on that itinerary, you can research in advance. You can put together a single sheet of port recommendations for your group. There's any number of things that you could do, but I'm glad to spend an hour on the phone with you so that we can get those questions answered specifically. And if you have not looked at the 3 videos that I sent out today, I implore you to do that before you and I talk so that you get the bulk of the information, and then I can fill in the gaps for you.
Salita, this is Susan from, I'm a Nexion agent from California.
Hello.
And I have a question, or I'd like some ideas. In my experience at the cocktail parties, I've mainly been on Holland America and Celebrity. The guests come in, they sit down in the groups in which they came with, and they don't really interact with other guests. Do any of the agents have suggestions on what they can do to get them up and maybe interacting and meeting new people?
So in my introducing myself, once the group's gotten settled and you see folks are sitting around enjoying their free drinks, particularly on Celebrity in Holland, I say to them, I want you to look around the room, because those of you that decide to participate in this complimentary excursion, we're going to be spending the day together.
Perfect.
So by saying that we're going to be spending the day together, you know, one couple may meet another couple and become friends. And some of it is just in our own individual personalities. But that's the way I've been able to do it and feel like I'm hanging out with a group that traveled together from the get-go. You know, even those groups that are so big, they end up spending the day together interacting. And when we go to a restaurant, you know, and have lunch, folks tend to have a good time. But you've got to set that mood and that tone that, you know, we might as well look around and get to know somebody, because we're all going to be friends on Thursday when we hang out in Barbados. You know, folks will have a laugh and they really start to loosen up a little bit.
Lita, I have a question. It's Marnie. Can you tell me, can you do a video on your presentation at the cocktail party?
I probably could. I will try and do that soon. I'll have to remember the next time I come out of the salon.
Write it out and put it in an email. That's fine. Because the one that you did welcoming them on the ship, which I don't ever fan out that. I phoned last time 54 cabins and told them the whole spiel, the whole thing, as you wrote it, which is perfect. It's fairly long, but it's perfect. But we need one for a cocktail party.
Okay. I can do that. I feel like in a cocktail party environment, every announcement could be slightly different, but I can certainly give pointers and kind of overview. But I know for my style, they've all pretty much been the same, but I try and read the room as much as I can, too. I'll do an outline for you. And if I could do a 1 or 2 minute clip, I'll do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You guys are funny, trying to get me
You're
via
make
satellite.
Yet.
No, in my former life, I did news. I did news in the D.C. market. So I'm not camera shy at all. I'm just a little out of practice. You guys have been awesome today. I had a good time. I'm smiling. It's the end of the day. And this was productive. I always love it when it goes just like this. So if anyone needs, well, thank you.
You did a great
job. You guys are welcome to stay if you need me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Alita.
Bye.
I have a question.
Bye,
Lita,
anybody that has a question, stay.
I do have one question.
Hang on.
One question? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I just want folks that need to hang up to be able to say goodbye if that's what they're doing, and everybody else that needs me, go ahead and stay. I'll stay for a few more minutes.
It's Bob one more time, Shalita.
Hang on, Bob. You had two ladies, I think, in front of you.
Okay, just let me know.
That's okay.
My quick question, Jerry Augustine.
Hey, Jerry.
How are you? Thank you for my assignment today as well.
Yes, ma'am.
At the conference, are you planning to have a meeting or anything?
Yeah, we announced the dates and times of our workshops at the top of the call. If you missed it, it's in that email I sent this morning.
Oh, okay. Have a great week.
You too.
It's Marnie again. Sorry to bother you. But did you happen to get the pictures of the balloons in the package?
Yes.
Was that overkill?
It's one of our favorites. We couldn't believe you did it. We thought it was awesome.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I just thought, the level of execution was outstanding, but that was committed. So everybody does it a little different.
Okay, but the reason I do that is because you can't say you didn't get it in the door.
You can't say you didn't get it.
In your face.
Nope.
Okay.
You know what?
I don't want to overkill it.
To share. No, we thought it was neat, and we all had a laugh. We were like, that is just fantastic. So, no.
Good. It took a little air. Thanks, Alita.
Yeah, if you want to tell folks in the group what you did, tell them what you did with it.
Oh, well, with the packages, I wrapped them in bright green ribbon, hung 2 balloons usually each, with streamers, tied them onto the door. So when you got to your door, there's a balloon with a package, so you can't say that, gee, we didn't get anything in the mailbox, because the cute part was coming down the hallway and seeing all the balloons on the doors. That was neat, knowing that we did it.
Now, how big was your group when you did that? Because, that's
a very good question.
135 people, thank you very much.
135?
We loved it, and I think it paid off because people all remarked, well, a lot of people remarked on it. And then what I did, too, is the people I didn't get waivers from and couldn't answer, I took a balloon with a sticky and said, if you please turn in your waiver if you plan on joining us. So that was a couple days before deadline. So again, because people forget, and then they come to the thing and say, I didn't get anything saying about a waiver. So it reminded, so that I did extra also because it just made it easier. With the waivers,
personal touches. That's what that's all about. Folks will never forget it.
Well, they better not.
What did you use for the little packets to put the little brochures in, the folder? What did you use to put the little folders in? Something from Dollar Store? Or?
No. The folders we wrapped them up in green ribbon, tied big bows, and then tied balloons onto it.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And it worked.
Now, Kate, for a smaller group, I think that's adorable. I think it's awesome.
I would do it.
25.
I don't know if I have enough breath for all my...
Yeah, when you said 135, that's remarkable.
He doesn't any more green ribbon ever, but he's going to see it again next month, so too bad. It worked.
Yeah. Thanks to the air and the cheeks hurting. That in itself is plenty.
Listen, if that's all he has to do, then just keep blowing, mister. He did a fine job.
Awesome. I hope you rewarded him at the bar.
I did. Now that you said. Okay, have a good week.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Karen, are you still there?
Susan, I'm still here too.
Okay.
Hang on one second. Karen, I just forwarded you the email, just so you know.
I just now got it, yes, and I hadn't gotten it before. Okay. All right. So the only other thing I need is to verify that reservation number for Celebrity.
Well, I left that email open that you sent me, so once I get off the phone, I'll go ahead and do that for you and send it to you as well.
Oh, okay. Real good.
All right. So give me a few minutes, and I'll have it right to you.
Because when I called in, to try to open up my reservation, they say that number's not right.
Well, the national accounts girl, she sends me a few hundred of them at a time, so I can't say that it's not possible. She didn't just enter it wrong, but I'll find it. I'll go in Cruising Power and look it up.
All right. So that's all I've got, and I'm glad to get this email. Thank you.
This is Susan. I'm still on, and I had a question or two for you.
Yeah, sure. I'm waiting for you.
Well, I appreciate your tip on the cocktail reception, and I just wanted to pursue that a little bit more since I didn't get any other ideas from the host. My experience is everyone always just comes in and sits in their small groups and doesn't mingle. But the last Holland America cruise I was on, I got a comment from one of the guests in the review form that having been on other, I think the smaller groups, like I wasn't sure if it was Windstar or Windstar Circles or something else, that they were in a cocktail reception where people mingled. And so and they were disappointed that didn't happen. So I'm trying to think, how can I get people up in their seat, from their seat?
Well, I mean, I would
talk
also
to each other.
Right, after you finish your remarks and you encourage them to, just look around the room and make a friend, you literally may have to say to a quieter group, please, introduce yourselves, to the people across the room. We're going to be spending this time together, and if we've planned other activities, you'll see these people again. But say to them, hey, look to your left, look to your right, shake somebody's hand and introduce yourself and tell them where you're from. I'm Celia, and I'm from Virginia. And people are inclined to say, oh, well, hey, I guess I can introduce myself to the person sitting a few inches away from me.
In a sense, giving them permission to do that. So they're waiting for instructions. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. The other question I have is I'm on a Holland America cruise this summer, and I went on one last year. And you had mentioned in a previous email that sometimes they add things or put the wrong people on the list. And my experience on this last one really was confusing because the list they had for the shore excursion and the list they had at the front desk for guest relations of who was on the cruise and the list that you all gave me, they were three different lists. And trying to make sure every one of our guests got on the shore excursion that we're supposed to go on was very frustrating. I was wondering, since you have some experience with them, do you have any tips so that I could make it less confusing? I mean, I spent the first 3 or 4 days.
Every Holland sailing is just Every Holland sailing is just a little different. Sometimes it goes off without a hitch. Every now and then I get like this type of feedback. Always know that as the host, you have the most accurate list because we got it from them and we cleaned it up to make sure that who was on it was eligible to be on it. If they have a list that says anything else, you want to know who the booking agency is, because if we find out it was a Vacations to Go, VTG, or CrewCon, you can say they don't get the amenities or they've asked not to include their passengers. That's the first thing you can do to weed out them having additional names.
What was the three again, please? It was CrewCon, Vacation to Go, and...
Well, Vacations to Go or VTG, they can be listed as the abbreviation.
VTG. Okay.
That's the first line of defense, because if there are 20 people or 10 that have been pulled out, it's because we took them out so you didn't have to worry about them being included.
Okay.
And we've also provided that same manifest to the Shore Excursions team. If anybody has the same list, it should be you and Shorex, because we pay for the Shore Excursion before you go. We pay for it in advance. We pay for the minimum or whatever the number is that we have once we reconcile the manifest. They have our credit card. They charge us for the number we have.
I would love to hear from other guests or hosts about, anything that they're doing on board. I always do the
casino slot pull, and I try to get a tour. But if any of the guests have any other creative things that they do during their cruises for the groups that I could organize, I'd love to have more ideas.
Well,
so
my favorite one, or one of my
up.
favorites, is the float on the boat party, asking people to meet up at the Lido on a random day and time, maybe on a sea day. The host provides root beer, and everybody gets their ice cream, and they have root beer floats, and they socialize. That's something you do toward the end of the cruise to say, you know,
now,
it was nice
how
to
do
meet
you get
you.
the root beer? How do you get the
just order
root
it,
beer
you know, from the ship. Some people bring it on. This one guy that started doing that, he brings it on the ship with him. He just brings a case of soda. It only takes a couple cans to do it. If you've got 4 cans of Coke or root beer, that's plenty. Because it's not one
not
can
everyone's
per
going to
person.
come for that.
Right, no, but if you've got 4 or 5 cans, or, you know, if some people may do it by RSVP, if you're available, you know, call me. Let me know you'll be there. There's any number of ways that you could do that, but that's a casual, easy one to do.
Would that be something I could expense, or something you?
A couple cans of soda. If you did that, I wouldn't mind expensing that at all. No.
Oh,
no
okay.
problem.
Okay, so
don't
and
you know? Don't buy $50 worth of soda.
No, I understand. So, but anyway, so I think that is really helpful. And so, if we could collect, you know, ideas from the host saying these are things I've done above and above the ones we commonly do, I'd love to see more creative ideas.
Yeah.
You know,
we do that at conference, and we do that on these calls. So if you haven't, you know, participated in these regularly, this is the forum to do that.
Yeah, I haven't. So
great.
I thought I'd better try, because I did have some questions, and you've been really helpful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Salita. You take care and have a great evening. And you're from my favorite. I'm originally from Maryland, so I feel like you come from where my background. So
fantastic.
Okay.
Where are you now?
Take care. Yeah. Well, now I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, I used to live in San Leandro, so we've crisscrossed each other.
Yes, we do. And I was born in Washington, D.C., and my family moved to Maryland, so grew up there.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
cool.
You take care. Thanks so very much.
You too.
And thanks for all you do for us.
Oh, thank you.
Just waiting for you to finish, that's all.
All right, well, sounds good.
Yeah, I don't want to miss
anything.
Thank you so
much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Not hanging up till it's over. Yeah.
Well,
okay,
then I will do it for you. This is our open mic call for February 16th, 2017. The time is 4:12 p.m. Take care, folks. See you next month.
Good enough. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.